dropping knowledge on Grambo Bros, talking about plants and how.
There is nothing but good vibes up in here. Grambo grows. Welcome, guys. It is the late night smoke. We are doing this. I was saying in chat, I am hopped up on way too much caffeine and not enough ganja. What are you guys smoking on out there? I want to know. And I'm not just talking to the people who are in the live chat. You guys watching on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. What are you smoking? Leave a comment. I got that cherry emergency going down over here. I had an awesome day with the little Grambina, and got her off to mama, and now I am hanging with y'all. Curious what you're smoking, what's going down. Brian's got that vanilla starburst. You know, that sounds yummy. I'm all about that. Annie 20, you got some first class funk. I don't know what the hell that is. My girl, she's got that gelato 33. Love that stuff. It's great. I'm loving the game. I was just talking with my guest today about the just the persecution, the censorship, what's going on with the plant. It's absolute chaos everywhere you look. But I'm a man who loves a good challenge. I'm a glutton for punishment. I love this community, and I won't be silenced. And I know none of you guys will be silenced either. There is censorship afoot, y'all. It just keeps getting worse. Remember when it was fully illegal and we could do whatever we wanted, and now it's essentially legal, and like we're getting thrown under the bus. It is ridiculous. So definitely, if you like cannabis growing, if you like cannabis smoking, you like token and joking, hit that subscribe button, not just over here, but all your favorite content creators. We do get shadow banned, and oftentimes people are like, hey, you did put out a video this week, and you go, no, I did. It just didn't get pushed out. They call it age gating. What it really is subscriber gating. They put us in the shadows, and like Dude Grows. We talking about the shadow ban. Dude Grows got straight up deleted, y'all. So make sure Dude Grows 3.0. Follow us over there. We're rebuilding. That pops in my mind because once again we got the age restriction. We got the shadow ban. We lost the appeal. Like the whole thing. It's like we hung out with JR Token. We were talking about little baby plants, little seedlings, nothing that should be getting got. So hit that subscribe button, smack that like button. You know what it is all about. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Before I get too far in, I have to give a special shout out to you, the GramFam, the Borg members. Thank you guys. This was it's actually a banner week for the show. Views were 300% up this week. That's shocking. So thank you guys. And you know why it was? Because you hit that share button. You rolled those videos up and you passed them to a friend. That's literally the thing that's like makes it work. And so yeah, a couple videos got like 20,000 views. That's unusual for this channel. I don't put a lot of love into it. And I have to give a super special shout out to the Cannabis Cook. Thank you, Cannabis Cook. You know who you are. Don't try to find him on Instagram. That's an alias. And he's the man. He sends me every single week. He'll watch the late night smoke, and he'll give me time codes. He'll be like, I thought this was a really great moment. I thought this was a great moment. And so he sent me the time codes with the Diamond Mine TDM, the awesome concentrate maker here in Denver. Put those up, and 50,000 views in a week later. Thank you, Cannabis Cook. I see what you're doing, and the day that you're able, he's got a real job, and he's out there in some version of prohibition land. And so once I can give him a proper shout out, I will give him a proper shout out. And speaking of shout out to the Bad River Farm community. Shout out Mr. Sparkles. Shout out Cody. Shout out all you the Bad River crew out there in North Dakota, holding it down. And I heard rumors that there might be a Grambo strain in the works. I don't know. I hear things. People are talking. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things. Hello to you, my friend. South Dakota. My bad. What the Dakota? You know how this works. To anyone in America, there's just one Dakota. And you're in it. So South Dakota over here. I'm talking on the fucking South. Yes, in the South Dakota, the good Dakota, only the good half. My daughter tells me half Jewish, only the good half. Some of you get that reference. So guys, yes, this is it's been a crazy week. I don't have to tell anyone that watches the news. It's been a crazy week. Everyone is, it's crazy. There's pandemonium in the streets, local news as far as Colorado. I won't even bring it up out of fear of getting pushed down. But let's just say everyone in Evergreen, Colorado, I'm thinking of you. My kids' school district is in the same district. So I got an email notification. Hey, there was a thing that happened and pieces of metal went through other people. So come pick up your kid. And I go, Jesus H Christ, what are we doing? And it makes it hard to get through the week. But if not for the community of you guys, people like Cody Whittaker, dropping the 5 gift subs again. Thank you, buddy. And shout out every time I see someone give out the gift subs, I always think of LJ Jones. Shout out to LJ Jones out there fighting the good fight, trying to stay healthy, trying to recover. We're thinking about you. Literally, as everything was getting started here in the show, High Plains Bud, we were all talking. And we go, how's LJ Jones? And he's still kicking. And so shout out to you, LJ Jones. If you see this, we're thinking about you, buddy. And just because you're not here dropping those gift subs doesn't mean that I ain't appreciative of all the members that you corralled into the thing. And so today, thank you, Bad River, and thank you, Cody Whittaker. Guys, and shout out to Chad Westport. Chad Westport holding it down. Literally, I asked what people were smoking. I saw one person say the No Joke and another person say the Nakatomi Plaza. So, yeah. Shout out to you, Chad Westport. So, guys, tonight, we got to talk about what's going down in the world. And I brought the only person I know that is even halfway qualified to discuss this topic. None of us know nothing about nothing, but at least we can speculate. How do we stay safe? What are the things that we got to do? And at least as legislation starts moving forward, if we at least kind of have an idea of what possibly might be going down, we might have a shot at maybe changing something, standing in the way. Because if I know anything about the world, if you bitch loud enough, if enough people get loud and bitch about things change. And if there's one guy that knows about talking loud, it's the guy from the Talking Loud podcast. It's my man, Matt, iCanTHC.
What up, brother? Thanks for having me on the show. I came prepared with my little pipe.
Look at you.
I'm
got
ready.
That Gandalf. That boy's got the Gandalf in him.
Yeah. Ready to talk some grow with you, bro. So thanks for having me on the show, man.
I appreciate you. I was over at your place not too long ago, and your grow is awesome. You have a labyrinth down. Your studio is half studio, half grow. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. You're like, all right, watch out for the plants as you go. And he's like, you got a plant in the shower, you got plants in the closets, you're all over the place, bro. You're the real deal.
I make do with what I got, and I think that that's really important because a lot of growers just don't necessarily have the money for 4 or 5 tents and stuff like that. So I convert a spare cabinet, or if I have a spare bathroom, I throw some plants in there. So I'm just really working with what I got and making it happen. And I think that's important, bro.
That is literally the spirit of the grow. We do live in an era where tents are you can get a kit for pretty cheap, but then you need the place to put it, and so finding a place to put it is the real hard. Nothing but good vibes up in here. I love that. The MBGVUIH, that acronym.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, you've been dealing with it as much as anybody, bro. Talking with you before the show, like I run 3 different channels. I got Grambo Grows, I got the Jug Dealers, I got Dude Grows. So I feel just like punched constantly.
Dude, you're crushing it, bro. So I gotta say, big up. You're crushing it, bro.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I love this community, and I love literally. I had a mystical experience with the universe where I got off the road doing comedy, and I asked the universe, give me something where I can make content, use my ability to be funny, my ability to be charismatic on camera, my ability to cannabis growing, all the things that I'm an expert in. I wish something would come and give me all of those things. And then the Dude Grows is like, hey, you want to join us? And I was like, dude, being funny, making content, growing weed. I was like, I asked for this. And within the same week, it gave it to me. So I'm to quote the Blues Brothers, I'm on a mission from God.
You know what they say, good things happen to good people, bro. So I'm happy to see that, man. Big up.
Well, I appreciate you. But the reason I bring up those 3 channels is because if we take all of the shadow banning of all 3 channels and combine it up, it equals 1 iCanTHC. Bro, they're coming at you. Because you're you know why? Because you're The rest of us are just like stoners, like yakking in the wind, but you're like an educated man and they fear you, bro.
I don't know about all of that, but I appreciate that. But I do feel like the algorithm is just so aggressive. The AI that they're using to scan all the videos now is just so aggressive that they're flagging everything. So, like on my main iCan channel, bro, every single video gets flagged, no matter what it is. I could be talking about nothing and it'll get flagged. I could be showing nothing and it'll get flagged. So I feel like the algorithm, they really need to recheck that or something, bro, because it suppresses creators. And I was thinking about it just this weekend. It makes you feel so disheartened and shit. Like you just don't feel to create content, bro. Because I'm like, I don't even want to create any content right now on my main iCan channel because everything is getting suppressed. So I spend all this time to create this content, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna love this. It's gonna be awesome. And when it goes out there, no one sees it. So that's truly just disappointing shit, bro.
It is. I always say when I first started becoming a YouTuber, I posted my first YouTube video in 2006. I've been at this game for the better part of 18 years. And when I first started making content, I just had this impression that like the content fairy shows up with these highly produced, edited videos. It's a lot of work. You put a lot of work. You got to research things. You got to edit them. You got to package them. It's a whole process. And then YouTube comes by and just, smashes it down. And you go, oh, why do I even bother? Right?
Yeah, it's like it's so disheartening, bro. It's really, really disheartening. But like you just got to keep pushing through. So like I mentioned, it makes me feel like I'm not like I don't want to put any content onto the main channel, but I'm still going to be putting content onto the main channel because you can't let them get you down, right? You can't let them fucking make you stop doing what you love. So yeah, I think that's the big part of it, bro. Just don't let them keep you down.
You're making me realize that the YouTube AI stands for against indicas. What the fuck? That's the best. That's the best I could do. Yeah, I took this screenshot. I love. I take like I download pictures, anything that's motivational, and then this one hit me this week. It says either increase sacrifice or reduce desire, and my desire is very high. I want to make stuff. I want to lead the charge of this cannabis movement. It is going to switch to like fully legal and YouTube will be at our backs. And I want to be there when it does.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going my desire is not going to go down. So I'm just going to increase my sacrifice. I'm going to keep going. And, I'll click off when you're smoking, I'll click over to me. And when I'm smoking, I'll click over to you and we'll just, we'll pretend that nothing's happening in the background, right?
Nothing at all. But like you said, bro, that's all we can do. Cause like I would have been so disheartened, bro, if DGC stopped posting videos, like if they just gave up after the first time they got taken down, I'd be like, man, we lost a pillar in the community, bro. How fucked up is that? So I'm happy. And I use that as inspiration that the DGC channel could get taken down, multiple times and they keep pushing. So who the fuck am I? I got to keep pushing too,
It is literally the thing. So you guys can go over, I'll just shout you. Dude Grows 3.0 over there. I was renaming the channel and I was like, I was like, oh, what do we call it? And I was like, in our community, we have a new tradition that's been born out of our persecution. Is there a term for persecution tradition? Tradition and we call ourselves it's the 2.0, the 3.0, the 4.0 to let people know, like
this
famously
is how many times we've been fucked with.
Yes, famously and mostly on Instagram. Instagram is the home of the 5x deletions, but
yeah,
YouTube's getting up there. We had Dude Grows lost a 88,000 subscriber account deleted, and then a 50,000 subscriber account deleted, and so now we're back up to 3,100, baby. Let's go!
Hell yeah, let's get it. Man, that's absolutely crazy. So I just want to say, like, shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone's support, because without the community, we wouldn't be able to build back up, these channels and produce this content for everyone. Like, it's just such a fucking abyss. I like to say it's an abyss because in YouTube, that's what it feels like, bro. It feels like you're throwing all this effort away sometimes and you don't get any reward for it. Like people don't know, like a lot of these cannabis channels are not monetized either. So a lot of people put out this content for completely free. And that in itself, like I ask people, would you go to work and would you work at your job and not get paid? And a lot of people will be like, fuck no, not at all, you know. So it's the
Yes.
same thing, you know. I try to treat this as a job, and it's really disheartening when you don't get any reward for it at all, you know.
Yeah, that's why we have to do all the extracurriculars. Like we got the realdgc.com for the dude grows, and you've got all sorts of stuff going on. And props to you, bud. You got the what I just see here, Grow Ohio, the iCan Organics. You got the Seed Club. You got all sorts of things going on. So it's very important if you guys if you do like cannabis content, you know, this is the way to support. Like Matt said, we don't run ads. You won't see ads before our stuff. We get shot down. There's no money to be made the traditional route. Like, let alone can we run ads? We can barely run our videos, let alone like make money from the videos. So it's important. Support them however you can. That's it's very important. And so today, you know, I got thinking about this week. We've been talking just at Dude Grows. We've been talking about the rescheduling thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, as we go into rescheduling, I see a lot of positivity around like the thinking in a lot of people about the rescheduling. And, you know, I know nothing. So I figure you're the guy to run some of my negativity by, see if I'm confirmed or if I'm being overly biased. You want to talk a little? You want to talk a little rescheduling?
Yeah, let's do it, bro. And I feel like I'm pretty sure that some of your concerns may be 100% justified and valid. So let's run it.
This is the thing. So, like, I don't have a list of what we're talking about going to Schedule 3, right? Could you explain to just the people, you know, for once again, for people that don't know, Matt is an actual lawyer. He's been to school, he does his homework. And by the way, another way that you can support him and that actually it seems like your videos are getting out there, he's got this awesome channel, the Legal News Network. Legalize it, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And yeah, your videos are actually going out over there, and God bless, because you're literally talking nothing but news and law and everything. Lawyer in the terps, like TB says.
I
And
know,
so
I know,
yeah,
man. I'm just trying to support the community, you know, because like it's a patchwork of laws when it comes to cannabis across America, bro. Every single state has different laws. Some of them good, some of them not so good. Some of them try to trip you up. Some of them are straightforward. So I'm just trying to clarify it for everyone because the law always changes so quickly as well. For example, what's happening in Alabama or down in Texas, the law is changing so fast. So 1 second it could be okay for THCA hemp. Next second, everything is banned. So I just want to break it down for everyone. It also gives people an opportunity to, before these laws are actually passed, raise some awareness around them and reach out to your local state senators or whatever the case may be and try to get some of these laws stopped from being passed if they actually are not beneficial to the cannabis community. Like down in Florida, there was a law which was being proposed, Amendment 3, and that would not have permitted home grows. So a lot of people reached out to their state senators and whatnot and said, yo, I appreciate you guys trying to pass rec and everything, but we do not want the market to be monopolized, and home grows is important to us. So little nuances like that, I think, is really important.
I think that one of the great conspiracies out there, and this isn't even a deep conspiracy, I think one of the narratives that people in power push is that only the rich and powerful can influence. Well, you know, they don't listen to us. Bullshit, they do. You have a lot of power in that Amendment 3 thing that Matt just talked about. That is true. Like the people spoke up, it kind of got trending on social media, and they actually did it. You do have a lot of power in this world, and I believe that's one of my conspiracy theories. I think because I grew up thinking, nah, I'm broke. I live in Iowa. I can't do nothing. And so I never voted. I never gotten any community outreach. I never emailed nobody. I never sent no letters. And I get older and I realize like, oh wait, no, that was completely false. I do have power. One man, one vote actually does work in this country. It's a thing.
Yeah, bro. And even simple shits like signing petitions, online petitions, and stuff like that, that can go a long way. But people, even down in Texas, they went a step further and there were tons of boxes, bro, filled with letters written to Governor Abbott asking him not to sign this bill, asking him to veto the ban. And bro, if I was shocked at seeing the boxes coming in on tons of these little dollies, bro, like just tons of them into his office. I'm like, dude, look at how many people are sending freaking letters, bro. I love it.
It is a thing, man. That's it made me realize, like, for example, like just being content creators. Like I was always like, oh, they don't notice. I leave a comment, no one notices. Well, now I'm in the position, but hell yeah, I notice. I notice guys like Trailblazer. This is a good friend of mine. I hang out with him 3 and 4 times a week. Guy like High Plains Bud. Like, I know these people. I don't know you yet, Trailblazer, and not in real life, but I know his story. I know he works at a head shop slash he works in things that are 18 plus. We'll just say that. And he's the man. And we do see you, and the politicians see you as well. And so for anyone that's completely out of the world, what is even scheduling? Like back in the 70s, Nixon put this thing called scheduling in. What is Schedule 1? What is Schedule 3? And why are we talking about it now?
So basically, like you mentioned, the entire war on drugs period and all that, the reefer madness period, all that, out of that basically came the entire Controlled Substances Act. And on that is a listing of all of the quote unquote drugs or anything that they consider to be intoxicating, funnily enough, not alcohol. But they listed in order of what is addictive, what is dangerous, whether there's any perceived medical benefit whatsoever. And Schedule 1, of course, is the most dangerous, most destructive. There's no medical benefit whatsoever. And plopped in Schedule 1 is cannabis, which is absolutely crazy considering the fact that it's medically proven to have many medical benefits. And there's also medically approved in many states for medical use. So that in itself is crazy. But what I've also found pretty interesting is that moving it down a few schedules to Schedule 3 puts it squarely with prescription drugs. Some of those things that are regulated by those 3-letter entities that a lot of people are not really too fond about. So I'm not really sure whether rescheduling it, moving it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 is the best step, but I mean, maybe it may be better than no step. There's just so many things, so many factors that people have to consider when it comes to this, and we'll have to wait to see what actually happens in terms of like those 3-letter agencies that will be governing it. But that's the main thing about it. Rescheduling it from Schedule 1, where it's classed as having no medical value whatsoever, to Schedule 3, where it does have medical benefits are accepted, but it also opens up research, a lot more research, so a lot more companies can do research into it. So there are benefits, but there are also some cons that I personally think. And one of those big cons is that a lot of people are concerned about the lack of home grows, because you pretty much cannot create prescription drugs at home. It's something that's very tightly regulated. So but if we were to put it into Schedule 3, that raises the question, is it going to be regulated just like prescription drugs? Are you going to have to go to a doctor to get a prescription? Are you going to not be able to grow your own medicine at home anymore? These are all questions that are up for debate. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
And so I pulled up just a list of just like, a few of them. So you got like anabolics. This is Schedule 3, anabolic steroids, ketamine, products with codeine in them, actual testosterone. These are lists of Schedule 3 things. And so you can imagine, like ketamine, a party drug. I always heard of it that. I had a joke in my comedy act. My mom had cancer and she was going in for surgery and they gave her ketamine. And I was like, hold up, ketamine? Let me get my glow sticks. And like I was just thinking like, oh yeah, it's a party drug. No, it actually has those medical benefits. But we all know that you most certainly cannot, cultivate is not the right word, but manufacture ketamine.
Yeah.
And so, and once again, me and Matt we didn't prepare any of these as we go forth. Forgive any, because I'm just going to start throwing stuff at you, my theoreticals, my hypotheticals, because I was a nerd of this. The reason I moved to Colorado as a cannabis refugee. I lived in Iowa. I saw the writing on the wall. I knew, I'm just going to get popped here in Iowa. I'm going to go escape. And my girlfriend at the time, soon to be baby mama, was like, yeah, let's move to Colorado. That'd be sweet. Best decision of my life. And so a lot of the conjecture comes right now. It's like, well, how bad could Schedule 3 be? Right? Because right now it's Schedule 1. And so I believe, to my knowledge, this whole Schedule 1 kind of, Jenga pyramid of, blocks is all held up by one thing called the Cole Memorandum. And you remember this, right? Under Obama, there was Eric Cole. He put out the Cole Memorandum saying like the federal government will not intervene in these sort of like interstate cannabis things. We don't have the time or the resources. And do you have any thoughts on like how binding is this memorandum, and will things change if they do reschedule it? Does that sort of thing become void? Does the modern government need to even respect something 3 attorney generals ago said, 5 attorney
it's funny.
generals ago said?
It's funny because like rescheduling also still may not necessarily make it federally legal, and that's a little bit of a misnomer that a lot of people think is actually going to happen. They think that if it's transferred to Schedule 3, or if it's President Trump signs an executive order based on the recommendations of the HHS and the DOJ or whatever the case is, if it eventually does go to Schedule 3, that's going to make it federally legal. But that's not necessarily the case. And the states will still have, the states' rights. That's still something that people will have to take into account. So certain states will be within their rights to, still outlaw the good herb. And I can see certain states still doing that, but they'll have a lot of a pushback. And that's something I think Governor Abbott down in Texas, he recognized that there'll be a lot of pushback if the states are inconsistent with the federal law. And I know a lot of people will say that there are certain states already that have legalized, like here in Colorado, but federal law is not allowing any level of the good herb, but it's legal here in Colorado. I understand that. But in my point of view, I would think of it as we have gone past that. So we're trying to update the law to reflect what the current reality is, right? Because back in the day, we would know that there was the whole reefer madness thing. A lot of people may not have been educated on the good herb, and that's why it's been outlawed for so long. War on drugs, all that stuff, let's not even get into it. But if they were to do that, then I think the states will have more pressure, because it'll be sort of flipped. If you understand what I'm trying to say, it'll be more flipped. So they'll be like, well, why is this state actually going against federal law when they've said that the good herb is fine, but they are still being stuck in the 70th century? It's a funny place to be in. And I think that that's the interesting dynamic of, living in the US compared to, say living out in the UK or in another country where the federal law is the law of the land and they do not have any state's law. Like when I practiced out in the UK, it was a little different because they did not actually have individual laws based on states or based on different individual cities or anything like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what actually happens. And as to your question, whether it will be binding, I think that it will be, but we will have to see whether steps will be taken to make any I don't want to use the word loopholes, but to work around it, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Well, immediately, just as we're going through it, and once again, Wikipedia, to be taken with a grain of salt, but it's cited. And so I hadn't realized. I've been hanging my hat on like, oh, the government hasn't intervened because of the Cole memorandum. And apparently this was rescinded by our good buddy Jeff Sessions back in 2018. So we've been flying blind for 7 years, and I didn't actually know that. That's crazy. So the one thing that was saying the federal government won't step in is apparently we haven't even had it for 7 years. So all right, I'm learning as we go. We have an interesting situation here in Colorado. Both Matt and I live in the Denver metro area, as it were, and so we're in the great state of Colorado. And two Denver guests. I had Matt from Strange Show and Matt iCanTHC. We're just Denver locals 2 weeks in a row. That's a rare thing here. And we made it. We made an amendment into the actual Colorado Constitution. It's Amendment 64. I'll never forget because I love Nintendo 64. So Nintendo 64 and Amendment 64, all of my stuff. And so what if something does happen? If the federal government did start stepping in and saying, okay, we're going to start changing things, we're going to start moving around, we're going to deschedule things. Where does a thing like home grow fall? Because we have 6 plants that every person can grow. You don't got to ask nobody. You don't got to get a card. You don't need your medical license. Every single adult person above 21 gets 6 plants, 12 plants per household. How does that affect us in your kind of way of thinking? Like, where does grow stand?
I don't think
We'll
it will
go
necessarily
national.
do a whole lot. And again,
Okay.
it goes back to like the states' rights, because that's enshrined in the Constitution, right? It's every state has the right to make certain laws in the government how they want that state to be run. But that being said, Amendment 64, that's Colorado's amendment, which basically legalized recreational herb for all adults, and it also speaks to home grows. So I don't necessarily think that it will do a whole lot, as in preventing home grows. But again, we'll have to wait to see, because if the FDA or if one of these three-letter agencies do come in and they say that they want to regulate how these products are grown, essentially cultivated, then they may have to put out a set of rules which guides how this is done, and that can be a very messy thing. How are you going to enforce that? I'm thinking already of certain laws that, like the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, they have, and some of those laws that they have on the books, it's very difficult for them to enforce. Particularly when I'm thinking of when it comes to like growing tobacco or stuff like that. But anyway, just to go back to your point, I think that we have to wait to see what they say about that. And in terms of the Colorado, I don't think that we will have any necessarily thing to worry about when it comes to the home grows necessarily being taken away or anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, though.
It would be, man, putting that cat back, because that's the main thing I worry about. As I go through life, it's like, look, we grew weeds available. We're gonna figure it out, one way or other. But I definitely don't want to, and that's great to know that definitely our amendment gives us a little bit more. I mean, what are they gonna do? Knock on doors, start kicking in door? Like, how many grows there are in America? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And God help us
That's
if
the
we
thing
had
with
to.
the enforcement, right? So how are you going to enforce these things? Even I've seen people mention like plant counts. There are plant counts in a lot of states, but how are people actually enforcing those plant counts? As long as you don't have like 10,000 plants in your home, I think for the most part, a lot of people are able to get away with exceeding some of those plant counts. And I'm not advising you to go and do that, but I'm saying the question is, how do you enforce it? Right. So if you do ban home grows all of a sudden in Colorado, how do you then put the cat back in the bag and enforce that? That's the question.
That is the question. And once again, it's nothing but good vibes up in here. It's not just a motto, it's a rule. So talking about like actual like nuance of government issues and all the stuff, but just to allude at it, there's all the stuff with the border and everything. And there was a time where like, it was operated in one way. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago if they'd show up in parks and like do things, I'd be like, no, that's crazy. But they're doing it. So as it stands now, I sit here right now going, what are they going to do? Knock on doors, start kicking in doors? Boy, I hope my words don't in like 2 years, like, oh, Grandma, you were real wrong about that when my fucking door got kicked in again.
Hello, this is the plant count police. PCP, more three-letter agencies, brother.
PCP. Yeah, that's exactly fucking what they should be. I got pulled over for speeding in front of I was over on this is a local Denver reference, but if you know Broadway and Colfax is like,
bro.
Bro, it is just like, it's fentanyl zombies and hobo villages, and it's
Broadway
insane. It's Broadway and Colfax is the legits right by the courthouse, and it's the cessiest cesspool of Colorado. I got pulled over right in there for doing like 8 over, and I'm looking at a fentanyl village. And I was like, what? How dare you pull me over when you've got this going on? So, it just goes to show that there is no
welcome to
common
my hood,
sense.
bro. That's our hood, bro.
Yeah, I was on a date with the girl, and we're it's post date, and we're driving through, and she was driving, and we stop at the red light there on Colfax and Broadway, and like it was like the middle of the summer, so the whole horde starts coming in, and I was just like, run the light, just run it, like let's just go. And she's like, are you crazy? And I was like, are you crazy? I was like, do you see what's happening here? Never let what's legal get in the way of what's right. You know what I'm saying? Once again, none of this is law advice. This is all for conjecture, and this is entertainment purposes only. Allegedly.
Yeah, but no, it's true though. It's true, and it's crazy. Like they would do those things. I fully understand what you're saying, because There are tons of those, tent cities all over Denver, bro, all over. And I'm like, what the fuck is even happening? Like,
Yeah.
anyway.
Crime's just legal in Denver. I was in Walgreens the other day, and their window was like broken out, and the lady like hangs up the phone, and she's talking to like our manager. She's like, "Yeah, I called. They said that they're not coming because this is
Yeah.
the same guy had like robbed them 3 times, and I guess they're just like, whatever, we're over it."
Bro, it's
So,
crazy. The
yeah.
soft on crime policies are absolutely ridiculous. They just embolden criminals, bro. The first time I moved to Denver, bro, I would never forget it. I walked into a Walgreens on Broadway. Funny that you say that. Not even on Colfax, bro, on Broadway. Walked in and I just seen a dude fill up baskets with shit and just walk straight out. And I was like, while I'm waiting to pay for my shit, and the lady was like, "Did he just steal those stuff?" The cashier lady, and she was like, "Yeah, just it happens all the time." And I'm like, "Dude, so no one does anything about it? Like, this is why lawlessness reigns supreme in these cities, bro, because no one does anything about it." Like, what the fuck?
This goes back to the old saying, overgrow the government. So as we move forward out there, my official stance is abide every law and pay your taxes. My unofficial stance is overgrow the goddamn government, man. Just grow more, pass the seeds out everywhere you can. Get those iCanTHC, join that iCanTHC club. Where can they join over at that iCan
Join the
club? How can
iCan
they?
VIP Club, man. We actually got a new line that we recently released. They're all numbered, bro. So this is the Jelly Berry, only 62 packs of them. These actually didn't go out to VIPs. So if you guys grab them, I think they only have like 20 or so packs left. So definitely grab them. This is the new line that we dropped. But we always got fire genetics going out to VIPs. We got a drop which went out over the last couple of days or so. So a lot of the homies already got their tracking numbers and everything. So join up, man. Mailboxes are burning down. Fire genetics, exclusive crosses. Some of them I work on personally. Some of them are exclusive crosses only available through the iCan VIP Bean Club collaboration packs and so forth. So it's always a good time, man. And people ask, do you get fems, regs, autos? I try to mix it up. So we do a little bit of fems, some regs, some autos. So whatever you like, you might find something in there that fits your fancy.
I love it, man. I love it. What are you stoked on right now? I didn't even ask. I walked through your garden and I didn't even ask what was in your garden. What are you fancying right now?
Bro, I'm loving the frozen juice right now. Like, the frozen juice is something that I've worked on myself. I've actually hooked up the iCan VIP Bean Club homies with it. A slight variation. They got the frosted juice. The frozen juice is basically the parents, which I've worked on. That's the breeder cut. The frosted juice went out to everyone else, but it's basically the exact same thing, and it's been super consistent. So I've been loving that one. And I'm also running the slurry pie. I'm waiting for that one to dry and cure right now. It's actually in some jars curing. And we've got another one which I'm working on behind the scenes. I don't want to tell anyone about just yet. I'll just say keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Nice. What's the frosted juice? What goes into the frosted juice? This is back in the day, strains, cultivars. I always you get those comments when you talk about strains, be like cultivars, and I always retort where I go, they're not clones, they're propagations.
Yeah.
We say things, and they catch on. It used to be like, oh, this is Chem OG, and you go, all right, it's Chem Dog times OG Kush. I know that. What goes into that?
I like that, bro. The frosted juice actually was a cross of, I think, 3 different strains. So the tongue splasher, it was the Banoffee pie, which is a strain I created myself, and the last one, I believe it was a strain from Elevate Seeds. I think it was the Kaleidoscope. So it was like 3 different strains that I actually were able to put together to create that frozen juice. And that's something I've been dabbling with lately. Typically most people will cross one strain to another strain. I've been trying, concoctions, mixing things up. So I've actually worked on one. I got a couple of the new beans right here, but this is an Irie Genetics cross that I've worked on. And this one is also 3 strains. So shout out to Rasta Jeff. He got a Whitechapel strain, and that was really dope, man. I got that from Colorado. Chris, that's my bro. He hooked me up with a pack of those, and it was just such a strong freaking plant. Now the terps on it didn't necessarily fit my fancy, wasn't what I was looking for, but the plant was just so strong. I was like, no, I gotta try something with this one, So I've been just trying different things with different strains, but it's always with the same purpose, the same goal, trying to find that fire, something that suits my personal palate, because like I tell people all the time, there's so many different genetics out there, so many different terpene profiles, and some of them I like, some of them I don't like, but I like creating things that are really unique and things that I absolutely love. So that's really just my passion when it comes to it, bro. Straight up.
Well, you're speaking my passion. Anyone, I call my members here on the channel the Gramborg. You join the Gramborg. I do a post show after this where I get way too real. Anyone that's in the Gramborg, put the poo emojis in the chat. You guys want to know about poo? I'm not getting that girl anymore. We'll just say that. Put the poo emojis out there. Let me see those poo emojis. And you can join the Gramborg. I do the post show after this. And anyone that watches the post show knows that one of my personal passions is threesomes. Love it. And plants, of course, I'm talking about. And so how does a three-way cross go? It's that's very interesting. We got the poo emojis flowing in from the Gramborg. That poor girl. She we didn't suffice to say.
Fun fact, I just seen someone in the chat say, what was it, stay off Colfax or something like that, but Colfax is literally, I think, the longest street in the entire of America, bro. It's like the longest.
That is true.
Yeah, I think that's just a fun fact. Yeah, that shit stretches
look at all this
forever.
Look at these poo emojis flowing in from the Gramborg. Matt, I got stories. You're in a nice, happy relationship. I'll just say you don't want to be single, buddy. You don't want it. You don't want it. It's it ain't. I'm living this life, and married women. But that was legal. Her husband knew. All right, I'm getting too deep into the mix right now. Join the Gramborg if you want to hear. I live an insane life. I live an insane life, and there's been more insanity since I told Strange Show Matt last week. I was like, my goal is to date a different girl every single week, so I have a story to tell. And I've been
Grambo, you already got so many crazy stories, bro. Every time we hang out, you always hit me some crazy stories, and somehow they always involve crazy dates, bro. So like, aren't you doing that already?
Yeah, I'm living that life, baby. I'm living that life. But I'm looking for the one. I'm looking for the one. No, she wasn't German. It was a total accident, and she'd be mortified if the world knew that I told the story. But I tell all, Matt. So when you breed three plants, let's get back to cannabis. I was critiqued for like, shut up with your failed dating life, Grambo. I go, look, this is what ganja and girls, bro. That's all I do. That's all I do. Ganja and girls. So when you cross three plants, how does that work? Is the receptor sites like, is it able to accept pollen? Do you pollinate it and then put the third one in on that one? How does the three-way crosses work?
Funny enough, I don't just like shove three plants into the tent at the same time. So it'll actually be like a two-step process. First off, I'll typically create like an F1 hybrid. So I'll have two plants, and those will be the first two that I breed with. And then I'll get some seeds from that, and then I'll grow that out, and then I'll cross that with the third plant. So it's not just about like sticking three plants into one tent. I guess you can do that. Stick three plants into one tent, throw a bunch of pollen around and see what the fuck happens. But I was more talking about like a directed, focused attempt at, creating a strain out of three different strains, rather than just chucking a bunch of stuff together. So that's how I would go about it.
That's interesting. And so as a person that's gotten into breeding, because I've always been curious about it, I always chat with the breeders about this sort of stuff. What's your focus when you go through these things? Are you looking for vigor? Are you looking for terps? Are you looking for stability? What are you looking for when you do these crosses?
Ideally, the typical things that people say, strength, vigor, all that'll obviously factor in. But for me, that's not really the key. For me, it's terps over everything, bro. So what does the plant smell like? What does it taste like after the dry and kill? It could be a small plant. It could be a big plant. I don't really give a fuck, bro. Because I've grown some big plants that turn out to be trash and they just don't smoke good. I've grown small plants that turn out to be absolute fire. So if I can get a plant that has, great vigor, great size and all that, that's fantastic. But for me, I'm looking for the terps. And that's the main thing that I pick when I'm like choosing parents or trying to figure out what should be the male that I cross to which female. And that's always going to be my deciding factor. The terps, the overall entourage effect, the smell, the nose, the look, these things are literally what I go for. Because for me, it has to taste good, bro. Like I mentioned, I grew a few strains recently, and some of them, they were just difficult to get through. You know, they were just so lemony, so limey. It was not really hitting my terpene profiles that I like. I eventually ended up just giving it to my girl. I rolled it all up for her. That's all hers now. You know, because I don't even want it, bro. So for the most part, I try to find something that I'm really gonna love, and especially if you're breeding, bro. Like breeding takes a long time. It's not like it's a fly-by-night boss. It actually takes a while, especially if you're breeding 3 plants. So I want to make sure that the parents that I pick, I know what terpene profiles are coming out of it. I know what terpene profiles are going in, and I know how that pairing might likely turn out. And even at the end of all that, it may not be what I thought it was going to be. You know, it may be too much on one side, may be something completely different than I thought it was going to be. And I always tell people that sometimes I produce strains that I don't even release because they just didn't hit the terpene profiles. They didn't hit the factors that I'm looking for. They just didn't have the vigor. I did a freak show cross recently, a couple years back now, actually, and it just was not freaky enough. You know, it smelled like the original freak show. It was lemony, limey. It had some really nice colas, but the serrated leaves, it just didn't have enough of that for me. So I never released it. You know, people expect a freak show to cross to have like really serrated freak show leaves. And that was a perfect example of one of the ones that I didn't release. So for me, it's the terps over everything, every single time.
Terps over everything. You're speaking my language, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, as I've kind of like gotten, you know, I'm sad. Like I said, I'm a cannabis refugee. I moved here for weed. And then once I got here, my goal was like, well, now I want to find the best weed. And that's subjective.
Yeah.
Just like in relationships and dating, it gets very subjective. Like we see a pretty girl, we can all agree she's gorgeous, right? But then for the one that I want to pair up as my wife, you know, the girl I want to live with forever, that's all personal preference. She's beautiful, but can I live with her forever? And I look at that with like plants, you know. And as I've kind of like gotten deeper and deeper into this cannabis game and just experimented around, I say weeds. My tolerance has gotten so high that I almost look at weed like aromatherapy these days. If it tastes the way I want, it just like it makes me happy. And something that tastes horrible might get me high as balls, but there's just something about it that just, you know, I'd smoke distillate if that's what I was looking for. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those, you know.
And you got to remember too, right? Like the terps, literally, terpenes don't only exist in cannabis, right? They exist in all different types of shits, and they're used for all different types of purposes. From, you know, you mentioned like aromatherapy, different types of and forms of therapy, to different types of form of relief, like lavender has terpenes. So at the end of the day, if you have that perfect mix of the terps that you're looking for, you also get the effects that you're looking for. That's just my view on it, right? So it all kind of comes together in this entourage effect. And yes, something may smell great or may look great, but it may not give you the effects that you're looking for. And again, that may come down to that entourage effect, the terpenes, or just how the hell you grew the plant. You know, it could be a lot of different things. So for me, I'm always looking for the terps. And I see now my homie Ross in the chat. Shout out to Ross. But that Cali Couch Lock is a strain that I created, and that's the cross of the SFVOG. And that SFVOG really comes through in that. So you get a really nice OG, super dank, super gassy. It really has a musky OG-ish smell to it, almost like a skunk, but not like a traditional skunk. It's like an OG skunk. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. One of the things that drove me nuts, I was a bud tender for 3 years when I first moved here, you know, just like get into the industry. And I was everyone's worst bud tender. These people hated me because I'd have people come up and they'd say things like, well, I only smoke sativas. And I'd go, well, actually, you never want to be the actually guy, you know. So my main point, since 2015 to now, 10 years solid, I've been preaching this. I go, there's no such thing as a sativa molecule. That I agree. That's like on average, sativas do give you that more energetic kind of cerebral high on average. But there is no such thing as a sativa molecule. So if we agree that the effects do affect differently, what is it? It's THC, cannabinoids, and the terpenes. Actually, as you said, the entourage effect. Terpenes are legitimately modulating the high. That's a thing.
Yeah, I like the way you said that. The terps modulate the high. You know, THC probably gets you high, but like the terps dictate the type of high you get. Is it soothing,
like
relaxing, energetic, euphoric?
the
Yeah.
THC is like the engine, and then the cannabinoids is like the gas pedal, and the terpenes are the steering wheel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the cannabinoids are the steering wheel. Maybe this is a bad metaphor, but the THC is the thing that gets you high. That's the energy that gives you the bounce out. But the cannabinoids and the terpenes, that is that's steering that Cadillac, baby.
I like that, bro. That's a good one. That's a good ass analogy. Whipping that work.
And then there's the other things. There's there's the sulfur compounds, as Cody says here, the esters, the thiols. There's all sorts of things. It's funny how many things contribute to flavor. All of them except for flavonoids. Flavonoids don't help with flavor.
You actually spoke about that recently, right? The flavonoids, no flavors.
Flavonoids. What's going on? As the dude would say, with the naming culture. He'll try to say nomenclature. He says the naming culture. God bless the dude. The dude is the best.
Scotty has me doing some really bad habits too, bro. So like instead of saying mycorrhizae or whatever, I even just said it. I call it mycorrhizae now because Scotty says that shit all the time.
Scotty a dude who just calls it the mycorrhizal. He can't even say it. He goes, that mycorrhizal.
I like that one. Maybe I'm gonna do that instead, bro. Throw a little Snoop Dogg rizzle on that schnizzle my nizzle.
That mycorrhizal. Hell yeah, dude. It's one of the things. It's I talked to man, I should have them here. Like I'll look as we go. Just this older couple messaged me. What's their can I find them, please? Let it be fast. It's going to take too long, but there's like, hey, we've been growing to we're both, me and my husband are in our late 60s. We've been growing for a year and a half. We're obsessed. We watch we watch Matt, we watch, the Stash Crew, we watch everybody. And I've been seeing this more commented out in the world. That's like cannabis growing is way more addictive than cannabis smoking.
Bro, I have a magnet that says that on my fridge. I think it's Ed Rosenthal that said that.
No way.
Yeah. What is it? It goes like cannabis may not be addictive, but growing it is.
Wow. It wouldn't surprise me if that was Ed. Shout out to Ed Rosenthal. He's still out there. Like a lot of these OGs kind of fall off, but Ed's still kicking. I see him on social media. He's rocking it.
Yeah, bro. I saw bro out in Germany, hitting up the ladies and everything, bro. He might look like an old guy, but he's young at heart. He got the heart of a panther, bro. Stallion.
Oh, I love this man. There's no ED. Ed ain't got no ED. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking
about all that, but
ganja and girls, bro.
Literally, bro. Like Ed was spitting game out there in Germany, bro. Like no cap. He was spitting game, like 100%, bro. And me and like Rob and Scrogger and everyone, we were like, yo, Uncle Ed's spitting game right now. Like hand down the back and everything, bro, is spitting game.
See, as Weedsconsin said, it's all about them blue pills, baby. It's never too early to play around. I don't like pills, but blue pills are all right. And they're not blue anymore. Certain ones are they're moving on. Shout out to everyone out there holding it down. That's so amazing. Good. Old is not dead. That is true, man. Especially I'm 42. My beard is going gray. I'm in the peak of my existence right now. I'm feeling good.
Grambo, you're 32. You said I think you made a mistake. You're 32. 22.
I have the testosterone of a 22-year-old for real, dude. I don't do TRT. I don't do any of that, but I do take supplements to increase my testosterone. My doctor said I'm a super responder. At my age, my testosterone should be like 300 to 700. I shit you not, dude. It's 1300. I have the testosterone of like a 22-year-old college wrestler.
That's what the fuck we're talking about, bro. Respect.
Yeah. And that's why I lost my hair. It's the dihydrotestosterone. It floods the bald men are very virile. Very virile.
Shit, bro.
I'm just throwing that out there, ladies. I got 6% female viewership, Matt. Just throwing it out there.
To the 6%, bro. These numbers in the 1300s.
And I'm looking at some of you in chat specifically. You know who you are.
I love that shit, bro.
Hell yeah. So what was Germany like, dude? What was it like going to the biggest cannabis festival in history?
What an experience, man. It was a great experience. I would not trade it for anything. It was my first time going out to Germany. I did not know any German. I still don't know any German other than Danke, which means thank you. But it also means dank. So that was an easy one to remember. But it was pretty cool, man. It was a great event, massive event. The difference between like something like MJ BizCon and MJ Berlin is that MJ Berlin was really focused towards the home grower. So a lot of home growers were out there, a lot of home grower supplies. Whereas at MJ BizCon, it's a lot of big ass pieces of machinery that people like you and me are probably never going to have in our houses ever. So that's the difference between it. I felt like a lot more love at something like MJ Berlin just because of that home grow factor. But that being said, it was also interesting because out there in Germany, despite it being legal, it was a little more difficult to get weed than you would think. There was no dispos open up, no shops that really sell weed that I knew of. And the only way you can get it is if you have a plug or you knew a home grower. So thankfully, we knew a couple of home growers out there and they hooked us up with some good flower. So shout out to those guys, my man Jacob, a couple of plants, there were tons of great people out there. I'm forgetting a lot of them right now, but shout out to everyone that hooked us up, man, because without them, we'd have probably been struggling.
That's so sick. That's so awesome. Yeah, we're the Jug Dealers just booked all of our trip to go to MJ BizCon this year. And it's definitely it's one of those things you walk around like you hear stories about. They used to have the cultivation section and it would be like the biggest hall and all of the thing. And now it's the smallest hall. Now it's all like joint rolling machines. And you know what the biggest thing this last year was as I was walking around, I'm sure you encountered it, was the CRC sort of things where they're irradiating weed with X-rays and gamma rays.
I did not even see that. No, what the hell?
Yeah. So it's the color remediation. They'll take moldy weed that is like dangerous to take and they irradiate it with, it was X-rays, but this last thing, gamma, if you know anything about the electromagnetic field, gamma rays are gnarly and they're gamma irradiating weed so that the way they can like safely it destroys molds and funguses, but not the THC. And so they're able to take like,
interesting,
a ton of moldy weed, irradiate it, and then blast it into safe distillate. And there's like a dozen companies, I was like, oh, God damn it. And Turpicana Kyle, formerly Turpicana Kyle, now Kyle Terps, as I call him, he says like he's used it, like if you have a problem and that it needs solved, use it. But if you can avoid it, don't do it. I mean, I dated this girl, beautiful girl. Everyone remembers the Kansas broad. I fell in love, broke my heart. It was a whole thing. And she didn't give a shit. I met her at the DGC Cup. Her brother loved the good ganja. She didn't give a shit. She just was like, I just want to smoke every now and then, whatever.
Yeah.
So like give her some of that distillate and her vape pen, she's gonna be happy,
True.
That goes with like beers. I don't give two F's about it. You give me a vodka Red Bull, I don't give a shit what kind of vodka's in it. And then I go out with a friend of mine and she's just like, are you insane? Don't drink Absolute. That's got XYZ. It's gonna your liver enzymes and all your shit. And I go, Dan, you're a connoisseur of like something I don't give a fuck about. So then I relate. All right, some people don't care about good cannabis. Thankfully, you and I and 304 people in chat do. God damn, that's why I love this goddamn community, man.
That's what we're talking about. Well, yeah, man. I actually, now that you say that, I do recall hearing about that, but I don't recall actually seeing it at MJ Biz. So this year, I'm gonna have to look out for that for sure. But that's exactly it, bro. Like a tons of equipment out there at MJ Biz is not really focused to the home grower, and I think that that's a really sad thing. It's a bit of a mistake, honestly, because the way that everyone is going is towards the home grows. Like I see more and more people in the community every day advocating for home grows, and not just in one state but in multiple states. So everyone is growing at home, and without having a lot more eyes on the home growers and a lot more events that are geared towards and catered to home growers, I think that the industry is really just lacking a little bit, bro, because it's not all about the big box growers, it's also about the small craft growers as well.
And it's coming up that market is growing, expanding. Like Fletch from Archive Genetics. Gabe went to this thing called the Billies, and it's named after like the Billy for the goats, like the best growers, you know. And yeah, things like the Billies, you know. A shout out to the Dude Grows Cup. Like it's slowly moving in that direction, and I hope it, you know, like I mentioned, and if you're watching, forgive me, the 60-year-old couple that just started growing 2 years ago, folks like them, you know, there's one thing that separates people that know and people that don't know is the knowing part. And so, you know, now you know, weed should taste good. Shout out to Miles, the weed should taste good movement. It's a powerful thing. Black and white shirt. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I love that guy too, bro. Miles is a really cool guy, and weed should taste good. It should always taste good, and that's something that I learned out in when I went out to Germany as well. Someone mentioned to me because we stopped off in Switzerland, and I got weed in the airport in Switzerland, which is crazy. But when you look at the back of it, it says 0% THC, so it's basically like CBD weed or some shit, but it was purple haze. And when I showed that weed to Sebastian from 420 Fastbuds, he actually said like, yo, that's because they literally washed it after harvest and after dry as well. And that just like destroys all the taste on it and washes off some THC. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if it's accurate, but the weed tasted like absolute shit, bro. It was worse than a cigarette. So it took me back to my point. Weed should taste good. If it doesn't taste good, then what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
What the fuck are we doing? And so that's why I'm glad there's guys like you out there. You're putting out content. You're making genetics. You're doing the work. I love what you're doing, Matt. And we did it. We just crossed an hour, and that flew by, man.
I appreciate it, man. Hell yeah, bro. I was like, damn, are we done already? Like,
yeah, we flew through there. So definitely, we've been talking about. I went over and I hung out over at Matt's place, and we talked grow, and we don't know when that's coming out, but eventually that'll be coming out. And where you can find it is over on the iCanTHC channel.
Hells yeah.
Yeah,
and hopefully it'll be out this week. Actually, I'm aiming for this week, and it'll be out on the main channel for sure. So you guys look out for it. Me and Grambo had a great time talking all types of stuff, bro. It was honestly an awesome time. So thank you for hanging out with me, bro.
Like stand up, and I'm like, so yeah, you guys local? What's going on here? I had my microphone out. It made me feel like very comedian-ish.
But nothing was funny about it, bro. It was a serious episode. No, there was some jokes in there as well.
That was a deep one. I love nothing more than to like doing those sort of shows. It's always like, you know, I love like on this show, I really like lean on like the guests, like let you do the heavy lifting. You know, when I'm on Dude Grows, it's Dude. When I'm over there, it's Jug. And so when I get to do shows like that, it really like I kind of feel like, oh shit, like I actually know a little bit about grow. That's cool. Hanging out going to the Jug school has been a good thing for me. Dude Grows, I learned a lot. I've been growing for 15 years, you know, the bro science method with all the homies and everything, but really hanging out with the Jug Dealers, it really and you went deep. You're asking me all sorts of like if you could smoke with anybody, if you could do all this. So we talked all sorts of intro. You asked good questions, bro.
I can't wait
so definitely
for that episode to drop, bro.
You got it. If you like me, go over there, subscribe to iCanTHC if you haven't already. Definitely follow the Legal News Network. That's just great on so many fronts. And you're less shadow banned over there. They're actually putting you out. I'm loving your thumbnail structure. I love how you're doing it. You're doing it right, my friend. So I encourage everyone, type in iCanTHC. Type and then if you just type in iCanTHC legal, then Legal News Network will pop up. You'll be able to find everything and subscribe, not just to Grambo Grows, but do subscribe to Grambo Grows, but all your favorite content creators. That's the one thing you can do to make sure that even when we do get shadow banned, it's at least going to send it out to you.
Yeah, definitely. That does a whole lot, man. Well, thank you, Grambo. I appreciate you shouting out those channels, bro. I've been trying really hard on the Legal News Network to upload at least 3 videos a week, so you guys will always get content on there. So make sure you guys are subscribed and just show some love, man. The Legal News Network is really your source for any news when it comes to cannabis in the community, and we try to break it down in a really impartial way, a really neutral way, and really just a way that brings the best light possible on the good herb, because no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, we just care about the fucking good plant, bro. We're all about the plant at the end of the day.
That is literally all we care about. We ain't getting rich. We're hopeful that someday we'll get paid. for all this work we're putting in. But right now, guys, it's literally your guys' love that makes it. And Realm Chat, thank you subscribing to both of us. That it means the world to us. It really, really does. So thank you, Matt. And I can't wait to see you. We got to hang out at least one more time before MJ BizCon, but definitely come hang out. The Jug Dealers know how to party, bro. Just one man to another man. Come hang out with us.
Damn.
One of those
Okay,
nights,
say no more, man. I'm gonna be there.
I have a crazy life. I was going to Vegas thinking like, these old married guys, what the fuck do they know? Next thing you know, the biggest DJ in the world, they're getting a multi-$1,000 table at the hottest club in town at Steve Aoki's birthday party where the guests of honor.
You gotta hit me up for sure, bro. And I don't doubt that because those boys know how to party, bro, for sure. My bros got motorcycles. They always partying. They always having fun. Like, yeah, they on it.
It's
bro.
The blast. So
I just want to say real quick, bro. Can I say shout out to the chat, bro? Shout out to everyone in the chat for showing love. Thank you all for showing up, showing out, always showing love. The iCan fam, I see tons of you guys in the chat. Smoking Joe, Double A, Realm, everyone, man. I really appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, man, and much, much love. Thank you, Grambo, for having me on the show too, brother. I really appreciate that, dude.
I appreciate you, my friend. You weren't able to make it last week. You made it this week. I love you. I love what you're doing. And I'm blessed to count you as an actual friend in this world.
Likewise, man. So love goes right back. Thank you, bro.
Well, thank you, my friend. All right. I'll see you soon.
Have a good one, man. Take care, buddy.
Later, brother. Guys, we did it. That is the late night smoke. We have officially done it. Like I said, we do a post show after this. If you guys want to hit that subscribe button, if you already hit the subscribe button, $5 a month, you get the join the GramBoard. Shout out to Cody Whittaker and welcome the 5 new members of the GramBoard. Views have been up, things have been up, subscribers have been down, but that's all what it is. We got Mo Groves coming in. We got Corey Stevens coming in to help get us going on the some more content out there. So we're gonna have a lot more GramBoard specific content coming soon. I thank you guys so much. And once again, shout out to the Cannabis Cook. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. That has helped grow the channel quite a bit, and it helps us keep motivated when all the YouTube numbers are going down. We're getting shadow banned. We're getting taken down. It's always a pain in the butt, but literally lots of content creators pay lip service to the community. I can't tell you. I mean, Matt didn't have to give that shout out to you guys. I know he is a legit fan of this community. As you guys know, I am. I answer every single question. I answer every single DM. I'm all about you guys. It really keeps me going. Scotty always gives me shit. He goes, Monday morning, you check your DMs, Grambo? I go, Monday, first thing when I wake up. Grab my phone. I see if any girls messaged me, and if they didn't, right to the Instagram DMs. Follow me over on Instagram. I always put a pinned comment of my Instagram over there. That helps me out with growing gigs, production gigs, stand-up comedy gigs, all of the sort of stuff out there. So follow me on Instagram if you can, and I will see all of you GramBoard members on the post show. And yeah, that's what it is. So you guys know what it is. Smoke that like button, subscribe if you vibe. You see that share button? Roll this video up and pass it to a friend. There's nothing but good vibes up in here. My name's Josh Grambo, and I'll see you on Tuesday for Jug Dealers, Wednesday for Dude Grows. Love y'all. Peace out.
We're dropping knowledge on GRAMBO posts, talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the cure, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. GRAMBO grows, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can. I got the